What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here. Thank you for joining me on the Select Screen podcast. If you would, go over to linktr.ee/select screen, follow us and subscribe over there. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. You can check us out at linktr.ee/select screen and youtube.com/select screen. Everything at YouTube and Linktree and all of that stuff. You can find us on that Linktree. All right. Also, this podcast is sponsored by Cross Centered Records, so check that out as well. linktr.ee/we_are_CCR. And definitely good music on there. Amazing artists. You definitely want to go and check that out. All right. So let's get right into the topic today. As I'm doing this kind of on my lunch break, I thought, man, let me just try this out. We're trying this new platform called Melon. Let me just give this a shot on my lunch break and see how it goes. So it's a little, it's going to progress a little bit. If you're listening to the audio, you're going to be like, I don't see a problem. Everything is great. If you're not, and you're watching the video, you're like, man, this is weird. This is not what you normally do. But nevertheless, let's get into the topic today. The ongoing friendship and now beef between Royce the 5'9" and Lupe Fiasco. Raise your hand, even though I can't see you. Raise your hand if you did not see this coming. If you have your hand up, put your hand down, man. Put your hand down. Let me start off with some qualifications and I guess positions on this rap beef. I've been doing hip hop since 2003. I want to say music since I was a kid. But two of my favorite artists just happened to start making a podcast together, Royce the 5'9" and Lupe Fiasco. And when I heard about this, I was very intrigued. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me give you the background again. I found Royce in kind of an underground phase. This was shortly after his initial beef with Eminem. So it was just around that time. I want to say again around 2003, 2004. So yeah, that was kind of my introduction to Royce. I really liked him because it was super, 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 super lyrical. The man just has straight up bars, man, straight up bars. And in my personal opinion, I feel like he won one of the hardest beefs ever. He technically beat Eminem in a beef. And I say that even though he was really going up against D12, but he has the best rap battle beef song in Malcolm X that for me I've ever heard. I feel like whether you feel like he was right or wrong, if you saw those beef DVDs in the early 2000s, or if you weren't born in the 2000s, you just wouldn't know about it. But either way, go check out beef and find out about this beef because it was amazing. It was amazing. And Royce single-handedly, I think, toppled D12 with Malcolm X. I know Kid Vicious was on that song too. But that is, for me, that is better than Ether. It's better than any other rap beef, rap battle, verse, song, whatever you want to call it. It was just amazing. I remember hearing that song and I still listen to it this day. I just, the way he destroyed each member of D12 was just absolutely crazy to me. And Royce to me has a very poke at you attitude. He's really shown a lot of maturity in these last couple of years. But he likes to, he's a prankster. He's a jokester. He's, Eminem's the same kind of way. You know what I mean? He'll poke at you until you mess with him. Then he'll unleash on you. And when he does, he absolutely destroys you. Love Royce the 5'9". Now let's fast forward to about a year and a half later, 2004, 2005, Lupe Fiasco comes out. And again, for me, personal opinion, I feel like he has the greatest album of all time. I'm not exactly sure the year that it actually came out, but when I heard it, it was around that time. And that's Food and Liquor, man. That album for me is a cover to cover. I had it on CD, so I'm dating myself a little bit, but I played the mess out of that thing, man. It was absolutely amazing. Every song on that thing was absolutely amazing. Here's the thing about Lupe Fiasco. Lupe Fiasco is a very eclectic. Maybe that's the word, eclectic. He's very, he likes to debate. Let's put it that way. Lupe likes to debate. And as a fan of his, it's been very difficult because at times, like, man, Lupe, just give us some more music, man. He's like, I can, but I'm fighting with my publishing, or I'm fighting with my distributor. Or Lupe always champions a fight. You know what I mean? That's just Lupe. Because the guy is super intelligent. He's just absolutely intelligent. And then you put on top of that hip hop, you put on top of that a love for rap and being the greatest. That's Lupe. Like, that's just Lupe. But if you, for lack of a better word, if you poke the wrong button, I've always felt like Lupe could jump into a rap beef that could be entertaining. It could be really entertaining for us, the listeners, And so let's fast forward to here we are in 2021. I'm just on Spotify, listening to my own music, listening to some of my other artists. Shout out to Saint Boy Reggie, Kamoy Music. And I happen to go into the podcast and I see the Lupe and Royce show. And I was like, come again? What? Since when did this happen? For me, it was a dream because I absolutely love these two rappers for different reasons. I always felt like Royce gave you that raw, lyrical, and I think that's what they both have, but he gave it a real raw Detroit sound. And you just don't, for me, it's like, you just don't mess with Royce, because lyrically his pen will destroy you. And then Lupe, man, it just puts me in that headspace when I feel like I want to, kind of not just feel good, but, just go to a different place. You know what I mean? For me, he's an escape. As an artist, he really makes it easy to escape. Really great, again, lyrical, but very great at being able to take you somewhere in his music. I really, really love that about Lupe Fiasco. And so, those two together, I was like, what is going to happen? And just listening to their podcast, you could see that what was going on was planned to some degree, in the sense that they're yin and yang, even though they both are real rappers. But you could see Royce pokes, Lupe is always trying to make his point. And that was always an interesting dynamic. And it made for great entertainment. But I told my wife, I said, I really wish they wouldn't have done this. For me to listen to it, I love it. But I wish they wouldn't have done this and just maybe did an album together. Because what eventually has happened, as you guys saw last week, and I wish I could learn how to maybe put clips up in this podcast. Maybe we'll figure out a way to do that, but it went too far, it went too far. And no matter which way you put it, Lupe wanted his point made, and Royce felt like he was disrespected. Just kind of like, I thought this whole thing was going to go down. Eventually, Royce would say something that would for Lupe crossed the line, and for Royce, Lupe was going to say something where I felt like Royce was going to be insulted, and that's exactly what happened. So again, today's selection is Royce versus Lupe, and that's exactly what happened. You know, the mistake that both of these guys have made in this rap beef is that they let 2-3 other people, and I'm not gonna Mickey Fax, whatever their names are, they let these guys get on their Instagram live and just wild out. And I don't understand the relationships, but I understand that there is some kind of relationship with these other rappers or whatever. There was talk of these other rappers saying they were the best. And that's again that's what's fueling Lupe. Is Lupe's like, you feel like you're the best, go to EO Dub. EO Dub, if you guys don't know, is like a rap league or a battle, a place where you can go and battle and basically prove that you're the best rapper. And so again, both of these rappers are coming from two different experiences. Lupe coming from the background of, he's had commercial success, but he's also had underground success. But Lupe's had, I would say, more commercial success, whereas Royce has come up through the underground, had some success in the mainstream, but also he hasn't had like a pop hit, let's put it that way. And so they are kind of different in that. And so, you know, Lupe, every Instagram that you can see, and you can even find these on YouTube, you hear Lupe constantly saying, you know, well, whoever's the best, you know, it's whoever's right now, whoever won at EO Dub. And, you know, not even you, Royce, you're not even the greatest. And that, again, that's Lupe's like, I'm smart, I get this, I'm making a point, agree with me kind of mentality. And Royce is like, none of that matters to me. I've been there, I've done that. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. And that started out just kind of playful, you know, but every Instagram you can see that it gets more and more intense. And Lupe's even went on record saying that behind the scenes it's gotten intense, it's become intense. What made all of this jump off is, and I'm not placing blame here, but when these other two dudes jump on here and they're loud talking and all of this stuff, to Royce's point, it's not very easy, but there's a method to getting Lupe flustered. And when Lupe gets flustered, two things happen. One, he gets mad. And you really see the South Side Chicago come out of Lupe. And yeah, you'll see that. So let's not sit up here and act like Lupe's soft in any facet. He's Lupe's real. Okay. Southside Chicago is no joke. But you could see that these guys pushed his buttons to get him hyped up. Okay. Royce is like that, but his response is always different. Royce is like when it happens to Lupe gets upset, his buttons are pushed, and then he'll go write a verse. This is the second part of what I was saying. When Lupe's buttons get pushed, his pen comes out. His freestyles come out, and he's going to eat you alive. And he could do it with a freestyle right then and there. And that's what these guys did. I feel like they used that against Lupe. They really did. And then the other side of it is, when that happened, Lupe fell back into his, well, if you guys want to really debate, go to EO Dub. And when he did that, I think that kind of lit Royce up a little bit, like, we've already done this. Let's not go there. And in his frustration, Lupe kind of directed that energy, if you will, or directed that angst at Royce. And Royce was like, yo, chill, now, so that's where Lupe went wrong. He didn't have to go, even though they had these conversations previously, they're just talking rap. They're just talking rap. That's all it is. Who's the best? Trying to define that. But Lupe was agitated. Then when you bring up a subject where they've disagreed, they've disagreed pretty calmly, that brought Royce into it. You can see in the videos that Royce is, for the most part, he's chilling. He's not saying anything. I mean, the man walks around on Instagram more than what you'll see in the Olympics. He's just walking around, he's just listening. Then Lupe kind of directed it at Royce, and all that anger and stuff, not even anger, just he's excitable, right? All of that got directed at Royce. Royce then takes it as, all right, now you've crossed the line, and calls him some choice words. We're a clean stream, so I'm not going to say all that. But that's where Royce messes up. He fell into, again, the other two rappers' plot by all Royce had to say was this, very simply: Lupe, calm down. He's trying to get him to put a shirt on, and Royce did that, right? He said, put a shirt on. Let's just talk about this. You're getting in your feelings, whatever. Now, instead of, if you would have just, if he didn't poke, put a shirt on, all of this stuff, I think everything would have still been cool. I think Lupe would have been like, all right, cool. But that didn't happen. Royce is going to be Royce. And lyrically, again, Royce is not going to really back down from anybody, including Lupe. So when he drops the swear words on Lupe, Lupe's like, let's do this right now, and Royce he's a writer. You know what I mean? His pen is, like I said, his pen is crazy. This is just so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it could have been something different for me. And that again, when Royce feels like you're talking to him crazy, it's on. And so, Royce is still kind of jabbing at him, and Lupe, again, at this point in time, he's over, to use a Marvel reference, he's having a Nexus event. This man is ready. And, that's where, when start your practicing and all of this stuff comes out, and next thing you know, we got disc records coming out. It's really crazy to me because these two, I described it like this, a match and a firecracker. You put those two things together, one's going to light the other and one's going to explode. And you could put either one of these two in either one of those roles. And you could say it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. Let's fast forward to where we're at right now. I listened to officially today, I think it's been out about a week, but I listened to, I guess if you want to call it round one. And both of these songs that came out, and I'm not even going to name the songs. You guys can look them up. But both of these songs came out a lot differently than I thought. Again, Royce being that I've done Malcolm X as a diss track. I thought he was going to come out with something heavy beat. You know, he might go get Primo to do this beat, and they're going to go and try and in Lupe. And then I thought Lupe was going to come out with something a little more light. Just, Lupe's a self-described nerd. I thought he might go and grab like a Mortal Kombat beat or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something, he was going to do something different, and then go at Royce that way. That's what I would have expected from round one. And the exact opposite happened. Royce came out with almost, just a rap song. You know what I mean? It was a diss record, but it was like Royce is rapping, and then he has a couple of bars for Lupe. You know what I mean? He mentions food and liquor in there. Like if you took that line and changed it to something else, he could easily say, I'm not dissing Lupe Fiasco. But the song is dope. You see what I'm saying? Whereas Lupe he did what Royce did to D12. Not that he destroyed it, but he attacked him. He went right after, your mentor is one of the greatest ever. You're just trying to be like him, all of this stuff. He did not delay. He went after him for not freestyling the whole thing. Lupe was just like, I'm trying to bury Royce right now. And so with that being said, Royce put out a nice song. He put out a nice song, and I like it. I'll probably listen to it more than Lupe's. I probably will. But I have to give round one. And hopefully there's only a round one. But I got to give it to Lupe. I've never seen him or heard him like that before. I feel like he wrote, or maybe he freestyled that verse almost immediately after he got off Instagram. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like, I'm thinking of, who is it? Drake, and was it Meek? It seemed like that took a while. I was like, oh, here it comes. I'm gonna, write this diss album at you. Here it comes. Whereas Lupe's was just like, open the booth now, have it ready, because I'm literally on the way, and jumped in the booth and just went. So that's my thoughts. I got to go with round one on Lupe. But overall for hip hop, I think this is the worst thing that could happen right now. I really do. It's the worst and it's the best because, again, both of these guys can rap. So we're going to get some great music out of this. I just wish it wasn't my favorite two rappers. If you ask me who I like more, I couldn't tell you. Because I like them for different reasons. When I'm in a riding by myself kind of mood, I've had a day at work, I'm putting Royce on and we're gun harmonizing. We're gun harmonizing. You know what I mean? Something like that. Just classics from Royce. But when I need to vibe, I'm going to Lupe. You see what I'm saying? So it's really, really interesting. It's going to be an interesting battle. I want to know what you guys think. If you're watching this on our YouTube, our Facebook, let me know in the comments who you got, Royce or Lupe in round one. I'm really interested to see, and maybe we can do a second episode. Be on the lookout, because on this podcast, we're going to be doing more than just music. You will hear Marvel stuff, DC stuff, video games. We're going to talk about all kinds of entertainment. This really is an entertainment podcast. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. We're going to have plenty of other people on. I've got 3 other co-hosts that are going to join me, and maybe Elmo 172331 as well. So be on the lookout for those. You can find me at Select Screen. That's 5elect 5creen, or at Genesis_CCR. That's the music side. And then our links are linktr.ee/select screen and linktr.ee/we are_CCR. Very easy to find us there. Let me hide this ticker. If you're watching the video stream, bam, there it is. So that's the Select Screen there. If you're watching the video stream, appreciate you guys so much. Like I said, the podcast is going to grow. You're going to see the video casts really change and really become more and more professional. This is just kind of the jump off, just kind of the start. So definitely go and check us out there. All right. I need you guys to do two things for me, though. Be kind to one another. Remember to choose your destiny. My name is Select Screen and Genesis. I'm out.